Madam Speaker, I am both humble and grateful to have been given this opportunity to stand in front of fellow leaders and introduce myself for the first time on a federal level. I am delighted to have been chosen by the Solomon people to represent them and be their voice. In the winter of July 1989, a small baby girl weighing only 6 pounds was born into a rough town located in the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. Although she was only small from the moment she was born, her young parents dreamed that she would live a life where she was free and able to choose and fulfill her dreams. Her parents dreamed so big that when I was 2, they packed one suitcase each, uprooted themselves, and moved across the ocean to a mid-sized country town in central Victoria, Australia. This country town is where I grew up, and where I was able to have thousands of opportunities thrust upon me that I would never have been given if my parents had not decided to change their lives and move 22 years ago. For those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, this is one part of the second verse of the Australian National Anthem, and these words resonate with me the most. I thank Australia for being so welcoming and allowing me and my family to be able to have the opportunity to live in an enviable life in this country. To this day, they still call Australia home, and although they may travel to different places for work for long periods of time, such as Singapore, Switzerland, and Bahrain, they only have one place that is their home: Australia. Although the move was incredibly tough on my parents, the decision was easy. My parents understood that for me to have the best opportunities in life, they needed to move to this prosperous and thriving country that I've always called home. It took great courage to leave a place they had once called home to find a new place to call home. They were not afraid to push themselves and to reach their goals. This great desire to accomplish their goals is a trait I now possess and have carried with me since birth. The funny thing about goals is that you are always striving to accomplish one. No matter how many goals you achieve, there is always another one waiting to take its place. Determination is what keeps people on a passionate path to persisting these goals and an ambition to never give up. Not too long ago, it was the goal of many women to be able to vote, let alone be a political candidate. In 1902, Australia's new Commonwealth Parliament paved the way for a new form of democracy by granting women the vote and the right to be elected on a national basis. The ripple effect of this decision then saw states grant the same rights to women on a state level. A lady with grit and determination who led the way for a woman in Australian politics was Vida Goldstein. Vida Goldstein ran for the Senate on 3 occasions, in 1903, 1910, and 1917. She was also a House of Representatives candidate in 1913 and 1914. However, she was never successful in her bids for election. This story alone shows the great courage and strength that women have and the burning desire to be the best they can be. Edith Cowan was the first woman to be elected in an Australian Parliament when she won a seat in the Western Australian Legislative Assembly in 1921. Unfortunately, it then took another 22 years for the first female to be elected on a federal level. Although women had been accepted into politics, there was still a long way to go. In 1974, Jane Collier wrote that, with the exception of a few queens, powerful monarchs or talented countesses, women were seldom seen as political actors, but rather as pawns to be used in the political manoeuvres of men, hoarded for the productive, reproductive, and prestige-enhancing value, or traded to create and cement alliances. Thankfully, we have come a long way since 1974, and women are now seen as a power player in political roles. On the 21st of June 2010, Julia Gillard was sworn in as the 27th Prime Minister of Australia, making her Australia's first female Prime Minister, proving that Australian politics is truly ready to embrace women and their ideals. I could mention many more women who have led the way in Australian politics, and their stories are as intriguing as the next. I thank all these women for paving the way for the new generation of women to be able to achieve anything that they desire, showing them that no goal is too great to achieve, although it may take some time. They have taught me to be strong and independent, where fear is not a word that I use. The power and determination that they showed encouraged me to enter politics and to believe that my voice is one that is able to speak on behalf of the many people in my electorate of Solomon. After growing up in central Victoria, just as my parents had before me, I made the bold choice to move. Although my story is nothing like my parents', I still have the same ambition and courage to seek something new. The electorate of Solomon opened its doors to me, and now the people of Solomon have chosen me to be their voice on a federal level. I would like to thank the people of Solomon in placing their trust in me and allowing me to speak on behalf of them. They have shown great faith and trust in me and my abilities to represent them. The electorate of Solomon is named after Vibin Lewis Solomon, who has been described as the Northern Territory's founding father of federation. Solomon covers an area of approximately 337 square kilometres and includes the cities of Darwin and Palmerston and urban fringes. We are a fairly isolated electorate, and Darwin is the smallest capital city in Australia. The electorate of Solomon has much to offer, and its main industries are tourism, mining, horticulture, and fishing. Solomon has a rich history and has endured hardship. The hardship has been felt none more so than in the city of Darwin. The city of Darwin has gone from a small port in 1869 to being at the forefront of enemy attacks by the Japanese in World War II. Years later, Cyclone Tracy hit the district, ripping the city to shreds and causing heartache to the Solomon people. Though all this, the electorate has continued to entice people and has seen astronomical growth over the last decade. The people of Solomon at times feel that they are the forgotten city of Australia, and thus may be missing out on opportunities that other major cities in Australia provide. I stand before you all today to be Solomon's voice and to make sure that they are not the forgotten part of Australia. The people of Solomon should be given ample opportunities to grow, just as other electorates of Australia have been given. I have given my word to the people of Solomon that I will be the right voice to lead them into the future and to stand up for their rights. The key election issues that hurt the Solomon people the most will also hurt me the most. I'm invested in providing the best service I can to these people and what they stand for. Election issues such as affordable housing and university fee increases are all issues that I have sworn to address for the Solomon people. The electorate of Solomon has seen a steady growth in its population over the last few years. In 2012, the population of Greater Darwin increased by 2,600 people, or 2.0%, the second fastest growth rate of all the capital cities, behind Greater Perth, at an increase of 3.6%. It is great to see significant growth rates in the region and for the Northern Territory. In 2011, the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that for the Darwin region, the median weekly household income was $1,806. The median weekly income for the Darwin region is both higher than Sydney region, with a median weekly income of $1,447, and the Melbourne region, with a median weekly income of $1,333. The fact that Darwin region's income is greater than other states is insignificant, as the price of purchasing and renting houses is extremely high. Unfortunately, houses and land are not becoming available fast enough to meet the increase in population and people seeking housing. This has led to a demand exceeding supply of housing in a most extreme way, forcing the house prices up and making it unobtainable for people to purchase property in the Solomon electorate. This has also led to rental prices being pushed up and people being forced to live in run-down apartment blocks, or even worse, become homeless. We want our region to grow and prosper, not for people to be turned off by unobtainable housing prices. The current government is not doing enough to find suitable ways of dealing with these housing problems. These problems need to be addressed now, not later, in order for the region to entice new people to the area and continue to grow. Young people feel the strain of extreme housing prices the most, and the struggle to meet the rent prices that are asked for these properties. How do we expect these young people to continue to meet high rent demands, especially if university fees are set to increase? I have given my word to the young people of Solomon that I will fight for them and bring attention to their pleas. I too was once a student, struggling for independence, but also reliant on my parents to help me through university. Students these days are much like jugglers in a circus, attempting to keep a balance between university, working, and paying for rent, utilities, and food. The concern is given towards the new federal budget and the reforms that may be set in place. These changes to Commonwealth subsidies and student contribution amounts, support of diploma and associate degree courses, support for students at all higher education institutes, and changes affecting the repayment of help loans. The Commonwealth Government states that the government is committed to having an affordable and sustainable higher education system. How can this be true when you will be allowing higher education providers to change our future students substantially more for their degrees? I will be encouraging the government to rethink these reforms and stop punishing our young Australians for attempting to accomplish their goals. I ask you all, would you have been able to accomplish higher education studies if the fees involved at the level we are now asking our students to pay? Our country is in debt because our government was unable to control spending. Why should the students be punished for our mistakes? You complain that we have a shortage of high qualifications such as doctors, nurses and dentists. But we provide no incentive for these people to choose to go to university and study these professions. I speak from the heart, and I want to see some strong changes made to the way we look after the people of Australia. I have been chosen for my strong opinions and my willingness to listen. I will represent Solomon people and fight for what they rightly deserve. We are ready for change, but is change ready to be given? I am willing and able to work with everyone on obtaining the best outcome. We need to put our differences aside and stop the bickering between one another. I do not care what parties we are from, but I do care about the Australian people. Once again, I thank the past and present women who have led the way in Australian politics. I thank everyone here today for the courtesy and respect they have shown me, and I thank the Australian people for embracing me and my family and allowing me to have these great opportunities. Thank you.